Pleasant morning again, my audience, and today we are continuing to talk about the School of Leadership. There were so much things that went into just coming up with these ideas, but I really had to listen for guidance, and I thank God for the guidance that He has given me. I thought of School of Influence, but then one of my colleagues in mentorship under the Myles Munroe mentorship program, she already have a school called School of Influence. So I didn't really want to, you know, take that from her. She's doing a very good job across there in Miami. Um, very good job, Trista. And of course, we have School of Greatness, like two different School of Greatness, and all these things. I'm trying to figure out from the Lord what it is, what to do, what to focus on. Um, and just drop this in my spirit, this School of Leadership. We of course, the School of Leadership is more than just a podcast that we're going to be having. We want it to be a physical entity where youths could come and get trained in purpose-driven education, purpose-driven career, that sort of thing. All right. Coming out of one of the programs I did years ago called Purpose into Profits, which is discovering your purpose and then making it, implementing it, developing it into a profitable enterprise. And of course, that's what you're gonna get. But the caption on that is really preparing yourself for the future world of work. All right. Came out of the Escape Job Hunting book. Of course, there'll be some collaboration with the other program, the Training for Reigning program. If you check my YouTube channel, you'll see the Training for Reigning program, which is developing leaders in churches to teach the kingdom, to implement the kingdom, not just to hear about it theoretically, but to apply it and then to teach it, to demonstrate it, to guide people through the process called Training for Reigning. Is that process. It's a practical program, very challenging program, where you become a person of that gives evidence that the kingdom of God is here. And the purpose into profits has to do with career development, career guidance, but from the perspective of God's design, God's original design, how you would design to be. All right. But the School of Leadership is gonna include a podcast. Yes, it's gonna include a physical school where people could come and get trained. One, from the understanding of the original design, and then from there into their giftings, into their purpose, into their the career and that sort of thing, and actually creating an entity, an assignment in the earth, in the world, that's having effect, that's effective, that's powerful, that's impactful, according to God's kingdom assignment for you. All right, that's what the school. That's the entire idea of the School of Leadership. So you become a leader in your specific sphere of leadership where God has developed you to be. All right, so that's the idea behind it. It came out of the World Solutions Foundation manual, which God gave me some years ago. This manual of developing this non-profit organization, which is the World Solutions Foundation, is a registered company, a registered non-profit organization, where what the plan was and what we started doing was actually training people how to be mentors, which is what the mentorship program came out of. That was started, I think the first training session we had was at University of the West Indies. That was the second training program. The first one was the Training for Reigning. The second one was what we had in the University of the West Indies, training people, the public, how to engage with gang leaders and criminal elements and so forth. People who are predisposed to crime. That was that training that was done by Dr. Morgan, Dr. Peter Morgan, Dr. Skinner, and Mr. Husbands, who was I think he was one of the leaders in the prison service, right? I think he has since passed. God rest his soul. So these men are experiencing that and engaging with gangs and engaging with people on the block and people involved in crime. That they have the experience of that. So that training was very good, was very powerful. We have one or two recordings from that, but that is something we'd like to do again. Of course, all of those things come under the Royal Solutions Foundation, because the focus of the foundation is it's transforming men, the lives of men, from one leader to the other, right? From one leader to the next, right? Transforming men. And it has to do with transforming charity into royalty as well. So men do become beggars and asking for handout, but men recognize their royalty, come into the position of royalty which God has created them to become, and from there they're able to bring out or manifest what God has created them to be, which includes taking care of their family, taking care of the community, being responsible leaders. That's the focus of the Royal Solutions Foundation. And the projects were really to go in communities, do surveys, do research, and then based upon what we find, then we set up a training system in the community. If there's a community center, we engage the leaders or the adults in the community to come to get training how to mentor the youths. And then we move from there to another community. That way, the people who are living in the community become the influencers, become the mentors, right? We just train them how to be, because there are people in the community who are concerned. They want to help, but because of their lack of experience, because of their lack of training, they don't know what to do. Thank God for the one and two who are coming into communities and helping. Really thankful for them. I think I mentioned someone on one of our last videos. Some of the teachers who are helping. Very thankful for them. But all of this is to develop this training. Now, of course, a lot of the programs out there in terms of the mentorship programs from the teachers and from the believers who do community programs, a lot of them either focus on bringing people to Christ, which is a good foundation, or making them responsible students, with the expectation that they become responsible adults, right? Making them responsible students so that they could become responsible adults. But the training, the Royal Solutions Foundation mentorship program now is to influence the person so that the person becomes that impact, that influence, that responsible leader. Not so we're not leaving it up to chance. We are making sure that the person is mentored beyond the school after they come to know the Lord, right? So that the life of the person, the life of the person is manifested on earth as Christ wants it to be manifested, or designed them to manifest it. So that's the whole idea between this School of Leadership. There are a lot of people who are doing a lot of academic training, and I'm thankful for them. And in the academic training, they try to lay a good foundation in terms of how they treat people, how they treat each other, how they value each other, so that so they expect the students to come out with that same culture of valuing each other. All right. But what we do is that we make sure that happens, so that even though you expect it, life has a way of challenging that character, challenging the status quo, challenging the person's temporary belief, or testing the person's conviction to see, do you really believe that? All right? Are you really going to stand with integrity, or with credibility, Are you going to be that person regardless of the circumstances? And that's what the mentorship program seeks to bring to the mentees, that they become that person that could be trusted. Not just that we assume that they have adopted the culture of the school or of the teacher or of the person that have been training them for a few years or a few months, but the person becomes that regardless of where they go in life, wherever they find themselves around the world. They come to that place where there are certain standards that they live by. And because we use the mentorship program of Jesus Christ, then we use his standards, right? The way he does it. And of course, we train the mentors to don't just follow me, but follow me as I follow Christ. And train the mentees to follow them as they follow Christ, not follow them as they follow me. So everybody's following as the person they're learning from is following Christ. So they have to learn from Christ. They're directing them to Christ. So Christ remains the source where everybody's learning from or receiving from, right? That character, that standard, the standard of living, the lifestyle of living, right? The person who's teaching doesn't end up the source. Jesus Christ remains the source. So we keep pointing people back to that if I go left or I go right, check with Christ. Is this his standard or not? You keep checking him, because he's the one who is the right standard, right? Because we could mess up. We can mess up. But his standard is set, right? Is it everlasting? And that is why we try to train him that way, to understand that I could mess up, but you're only following me as I follow Christ. So when I'm doing something, when I'm making a decision, check the words of Christ, check his standards to see if it lines up with him. And all you're doing is trying to follow how I apply it. But the standard is set by Christ. Right? When I go off, then you keep your standard on Christ. You don't follow what I'm doing because I'm off. Right? So that's the process we try to help people to go through, to learn from the mentorship principles. Right? Now, one of the things we want to deal with is very, very early, is in terms of leadership, is the whole idea of the source of leadership. And that is something I really want to touch on today, the source of leadership. And the implications of understanding the source of leadership is crucial, because it allows you to remain stable. It allows you to know where to go to when you don't know how to lead, or where the directions to go, or when you find yourself confused, or like the rug is pulled from under your feet in life, and you just end up in a disaster, because things will come. Where is the source of your leadership? So we know in Genesis chapter 1, 26, 28, the reason why God created man is to rule. Rulership, domination, dominion, control, those words or those terms are directly related to the reason why we as human beings were created. But we weren't created to dominate and rule over each other. To guide each other, yes, to advise each other, to direct each other, to help discipline each other based upon levels of authority, but not rule over each other, not dominate each other. Right? So but we were designed to dominate everything else on the planet. So not just the earth, but what is in the earth, what we take out of the earth. Not just the plant, but what we extract from the plant. We dominate and rule over it. So if we extract a medicine, or we extract an item that we can use, like rubber, we dominate it by looking, investigating, studying, and then creating or innovating things out of it, right? And that comes from what was built into us. The ability to do that came from what's built into us. But the source where we get our creativity from is from the Creator himself, right? And we are created to create as well, right? In the beginning, God created. First statement, right? The first thing God tells us about himself is that he is creator. First thing. After everything has come after, the first thing shows up. In the beginning, God created. Understand here, right? That ability, that creative, innovative, inventive ability is built into us. Whether we line up with him or not is built in. So when we learn to create according to his plan, according to his direction, according to his assignment, harmony is the result. Harmony on the planet, harmony in relationships, harmony even in your body, right? Harmony, peace, oneness. These things are byproducts or results of this collaborating with your source, being one with your source, creating as your source desires, plans for you, right? The source of leadership. I saw something yesterday and it's very disturbing. And I said, but I wasn't sure if I had the authority or the credibility to comment on it on the person's channel, right? I wasn't sure. Questioning Lord, I see, is this where I need to make this statement or should I just do it in the videos that I'm doing? Okay, do it in the videos I'm doing. One of coaches that I've been through working with for which I've worked with or learned from over the years, Tony Robbins, and his channel, he said he had this caption, adapting to AI before it's too late. And I find it was very disturbing because I'm thinking, but wait. So I started listening, and I realized what needs to happen is that it's supposed to be the other way around, which is adapt AI to you before it's too late. Not we adapt to AI, but our AI is supposed to be adapted to us, right? So, or another way to put it is leverage AI before it's too late. Leverage the tool before it's too late. So it's a tool. It's just like moving from using your desktop years ago, right? When I started in the 1990s with technology and stuff, moving from your desktop to using your mobile. What you're doing, you are still in charge and control. Well, you're supposed to be. And when you put the technology in charge, where you're adapting to the technology, what happens is that the technology eventually becomes the source of your action, of your lifestyle, of your direction. It directs you. And we have to be very careful about that. It is supposed to be the other way around, sir. The other way around. We are supposed to leverage tools, but we are supposed to rule the tools, dominate the tools, not the other way around. Because if you keep adapting yourself to the thing eventually rules you. For example, I tell a lot of youths, I say here, I will tell them when I have my coaching program, my mentorship program, I'll tell them, bring your phones. It's what you use to entertain yourself daily. But let me show you how to rule over that thing. To bring it in the class where I'm teaching, even when I used to teach in churches, bring it in the class, in churches. Okay, open your notepad, open your Bible, where? On the same mobile. So I'm showing you how to use it. Not that you put it aside, you learn from me separately, and then when you go, you continue doing the foolishness with it. No. Let me show you how to manage this thing, how to leverage this thing, how to dominate this thing. That's the process of rulership. Teaching them how to manage, dominate, rule the things. Right? Because they're gonna leave it, put it away, right? Listen to you, learn for you, and then go back and then continue doing the same thing. Where it occupies their mind, sometimes even when they're not there. it occupies their mind. The game is occupying their mind. The news or the social media or the jokes or the entertainment is occupying their psyche, their mind. So their heart is for that or towards that, not towards the assignment, not towards the goal, not towards their purpose. So what we are showing them is that this is a tool you need to use to get it. But let me show you how to use the tool to get it done. So use the tool, but be able to put the tool to rest. So you're connected when it's needed, and then you want to be able to put it aside when needed. As a matter of fact, we show them how to use the tool. So you read the passage, you even do study with it, you put down your notes, and then you rest the tool and you listen. Because you're listening to the Spirit of God to direct, to guide you. You learn some things there. Let me hear, how do I apply this? How should this be done? So you're not having this as the source, you're having it as a tool. But you're having God as the source. As a matter of fact, we even show them times where you put your quiet time, you have an alarm for a quiet time and you set it. You could set, okay, I need to go to school a particular time, or I need to go and do a particular project or chore a particular time. So you set your alarm on the tool, you set it aside, and you and God communicating. You and your source communicating. And the tool is there. You're not concerned about the tool right now. When the tool alarm, it's time for you to go and do what you were supposed to get done after. So you use the tool. You leverage your tool. You set your alarm. All right? That way you remain the dominator of the tools, the AI, the technology, whatever it, and God remain the source of your leadership, of your dominion, of your rulership, of your innovation, of your creativity. All right? He remains the source. And that's the thing that needs to be promoted, because I hear some people, I expect that from the world. I should not be surprised, right? Some people who have excelled with AI and say, yeah, I just in love with AI. Some people like that. Then people are in love with AI. Right? Craziness, right? But that's how they think, because they don't know better. They don't know that this is a tool, and therefore they should lead this, not this leading them. Now, in their minds, they're thinking, no, that's doing what I want. But really and truly, what is happening is that it so takes over their life that they don't get advice from the source, the original source anymore. They don't look to the original source for guidance anymore. So they're not aware that they have a different source of what they're doing, the innovation or the ideas they're doing. And one of the things that I actually felt discouraged, because I said, well, I need to build an entity that is big enough to make an impact, because what they're doing, it looks good. They have a lot of success. Yeah, right? It looks good. I used the source. Last year we did some trading, forex trading, and in 3 weeks, using the same source, using AI, but we were doing it through someone. Unfortunately, they didn't do the best. But even though they did not do the best that we saw they could have done, when we checked the results, it's been 3 weeks, the profits were 288%. That was a profit that we actually received from our trading, from the investments, 288%. But we saw a lot of losses that took place before that 288%, which is like almost double, or no, I think it's double that was lost through the trading. But our gains or profits was 288% last year. All right. This year, we're working on it, see what we can get done. But the tool is there, it could be used, right? As a matter of fact, part of the training I'm doing also includes things like creating your own bank, your own investment system, right? With risk analysis and all of that involved, right? And of course, I would be doing all of that. I have people, they're very good at that thing. So they'll be the ones sharing on those things. Just bring them in. They're the experts. I just leverage their expertise to help me do different things. Yeah. Everybody have their place. All right. So there are people who help with that. Also, there you have the issue with national governance. Um, national, which includes, of course, from politics right down. And that's a place where we have a lot of leadership training needed. Thankfully, we have a lot of people who are training in our connections. We have a lot of people train people to get into office and train them to make decisions while they're in office. We have connections with those people. So the leadership school is to help even in that, in righteous governance, in leadership in governance, in government, in the nation, in the community, things like that. How do you be a community leader correctly? All right? How do you be a national leader correctly, the right way? How do you do it? Using the principles, the systems from God himself. How do you do it? Like Solomon, right? Solomon was given wisdom to lead, to rule. So the same one who gave Solomon the wisdom to lead and to rule, he's the one who's giving us the wisdom to lead and to rule now as well. Same person. So we could actually use, as a matter of fact, one of my coaches right now, he learns a lot from Solomon. I've built a big business from Solomon, and I'm trying to learn from him, right? International business, and he uses Solomon's principles, right? But of course, I'm following him as he's following Christ. He believes in Christ as a king. That's the foundation. He believes in Christ as a king, not as a religious figure, right? And those are the things we look at, right? The source of leadership is very profound, is very crucial. If your source is wrong, if your source is off, you're gonna end up in mess. You're gonna end up in trouble. You're gonna look good for a while. Things gonna work good for a while. But let me tell you something, the result is disastrous if your source is wrong, if your source is off. All right. So I pray today that you get the right source of leadership, so that whatever you're doing will be impactful, will make the impact which God has designed you to make on the earth, bringing a solution to earth from heaven. All right? Because there are many problems we have, and we need leaders, right? We need leaders who will bring those solutions from heaven, who will manifest those solutions from God on the earth. Because he's going to use people to do it. He's using people to do it. That's what's nice. He's using people. All right. So have a blessed day, and see you next time on the School of Leadership. All right. As we work through the processes of how do we build the School of Leadership. All right. Send your comments, send your questions. What do you like to see? What your concerns are. Right. Wonderful weather, right? But even as leaders, we can command the weather, right? As to what to do. Okay? Bless you.